Nick speaking, and welcome to this video, Necron learning curve, and today we're looking at warriors. So just two troop choices available to us, the warriors and immortals. We'll come to immortals next, but warriors in this video. So for me, warriors, they speak for themselves really. I mean, a flanks of warriors, for me, is what Necrons is all about. I mean, just look at those dudes there. How cool are they? Now, let's have a look at the modelling point of view. So, if you're anything like me, I like all of my minis, especially my Necrons, to basically all look the same. Just gives the feel of the army exactly what they should be. So I wanted to paint all mine the same, which means when you've got loads and loads of warriors, it's very difficult to see which unit's which. So I did a couple of things. I painted mine up basically very, very similar, but I made slight changes. So this squad of 20 warriors here, I've just done like a silver piece on their gun, and then this squad of 20 warriors, I've got this green, and then I've got another squad of 20 warriors, they've got a different coloured green. And then what I did is I marked the units underneath, so that's Group A, Section 2, and Group A, Section 1. So that's one squad of 20 under the name of A, and then Group 1, they have rocks on their bases. Group 2 have nothing on their bases. So yeah, when I'm playing them I can see, you know, that's 10, without them all together, that would be a squad of 20. And similar thing to this, these all have crystals on their bases. Group B1, and then Group B2, they have rubble on their bases. The reason why I've marked the bases actually is because when it's in the case, it's so much easier to see which group's which. It's really, really easy to sort them out, which is fantastic. So yeah, that's from the modelling point of view. I'm going to stop the camera, go back a bit, and we'll have a chat about these dudes a little bit more. Right, okay, so these guys, 13 points each. Wow, that's fantastic, because they were 18 points. So you can get so many more on the table, which is brilliant. It means an actual 60 warrior list is quite possible, even at the lower points cost. I mean, even at 1500 points, you could get 60 warriors in there, which is fantastic. Okay, they've got a slight nerf. They only have a 4+ save now. They used to be 3, but we're going to forget the old stats. Let's just go with the current stats. So yeah, they have very, very good stats actually. They're very good at shooting with their Gauls flayers. I always call them flyers for some reason. Their Gauls flayers, really, really good shooting, rapid fire, strength 4. They can take out vehicles. They glance vehicles on a 6. Very universal. Their toughness 4, fantastic. Okay, they've got a 4+ save. They have reanimation protocol 5+. So basically, when they go down, you get a 5+ save to get them back up. As long as the whole unit's not wiped out, you always get that save. So it's like a feel no pain, except you get it even against instant death. So that's again really, really good, and that is something which we need to work on. We need to sort of take advantage of that. They do have one problem, and their main problem is the assault. Now these guys do not like to be assaulted, and the reason for that is they are only initiative 2 and they only have 1 attack. The chances are that your opponent's going to go first. They're going to wipe you out, especially your 4+ save, power weapons, and you know, all the stuff that's around. The close combat stuff's going to take out 4 or 5 warriors. You've got no hope of killing anyone in the return assault, and then you're going to be a minus leadership, probably, even though you're leadership 10, which is great, but you're going to be minus probably 4 or 5 on your leadership. You're going to fail leadership, and because you're only initiative 2, you're going to fail the sweep, and you're going to get sweeping advance. The whole unit's going to get wiped out. That is the disadvantage of the warrior. Now we're going to control that. I'm going to come up with going to show you some tactics that I use to help control that, because you can't stop it, but you can control it. So first of all, we're going to have our flanks, and how are we going to use them? We're going to take at least 3 units of warriors. Now obviously, arguably, you could have an immortal list, of course. I would suggest that it's probably best to have either a mixture of warriors and immortals, or just stick with warriors. Good thing about warriors being so cheap means you can have lots of other toys in the list, which is fantastic. And the more toys you have up front, the more the warriors are going to be protected and get less shots coming their way, which is great because it's these guys at the end of the day which are going to win you the game. It's these guys here that are going to take your objectives. In terms of unit size, units of 5 can work. I would say units of 5 maybe behind a defence line, in a Ghost Ark, in a Night Scythe, works well. But if you're on foot, you need at least units of 10. So here I've got my 4 units of 10, which is a good core unit, a good core amount of troops. Ideally at least 4, possibly 5, 6. And it depends on how many points you're playing, obviously. 3 can do the job, 4 much better. So yeah, that's how I would use them, units of 10, except potentially, depending on the rest of your army, which we're going to talk about later of course, if you've got Destroyer Lord, for example, is going to go with the Wraith, so he's going to be your HQ, or if you're going to have use a command barge or something like that, then groups of 10 work fine. If you're going to have a HQ choice in with your warriors here, then you might want to consider a bigger squad for that particular HQ choice. We're going to talk about that probably in the HQ choice videos as we work through the videos. But basically, if you had a HQ choice here and you had, say, 20 warriors or 18 warriors, you know, more warriors than 10, he has a much better chance of surviving, which is good because you want to slay the warlord, etc. You want to deny slay the warlord, sorry, etc. So potentially you might have a bigger unit, but we're going to stick with the core basics. Let's just say this is our army. So we're going to push forward along with the rest of the units at the beginning of the game, because 24 inches, we need to get these guys in range to take advantage of their rapid fire shooting. So yeah, we're going to push forward. Towards the end of the game we may start to fall back so that we can claim our objectives, but you're not really going to want to just be sitting with all of the flanks at the back and just let the other army go out and do the business. You know, these guys here have got to move forward and they've got to back up with their shots. And at the beginning of the game, you know, you're going to have ample opportunity to do that. You're going to have lots of other units that are going to do the damage, going to take the hits away from these dudes. Now, towards the end of the game, if you want to see my first video, I said towards the end of the game, you do get a lot weaker with Necrons. So at the beginning of the game, really, really strong. Towards the end of the game, you tend to get weaker. Your troops, your units start to die that you've pushed forward. Your enemy gets very close, especially if you've got fast armies. I mean, I play against Blood Angels and Orcs a lot, and they're really fast armies. I mean, turn 2, my warriors can be in danger. But we're going to come up with some tactics that's going to help you. We really control that. So we can't stop the assault, but we can, yes, control the assault. So what you would do is, once you've got a unit which is coming up, it's in assault range. Now, I suppose first of all, let's just explain this. So yeah, I've got my warriors here. I've got a very small table, but ideally you want these warriors at least 4 inches apart, so that you can't get multi-assaulted, because you don't want to be multi-assaulted. And of course, these may be spread out the full 2 inches, depending on what guns your opponent has. You don't want to get no blast templates on you, especially if they're AP4. So as your enemy comes up here, what you're going to do is you're going to control the assault. You can't stop their assault, but you can control it. So as they approach, what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, I definitely don't want to get multi-assaulted, of course, and I want to keep my flanks together because I want to take advantage of rapid fire. So what you're going to do is you're going to send out one unit. So this unit here would come out. Now potentially you might even run them because you really want to push them forward. So let's say we move 6 and then maybe we run like 4 inches. Okay, so these guys are going to go here. And then you're going to move these guys together. Let me just move these over. You get the picture. These guys are going to move up. These guys maybe move forward slightly or move over depending on the board. Like so. Okay, so you're going to look something like that. So now as your enemy comes in, it's highly unlikely they're going to do anything but assault this unit here, which is fantastic. That is what you want. So they're going to come in, they're going to assault you, and then you're going to die. Okay, you might be really lucky, you might hold up, but they're going to die. And your enemy is going to be left here, which means you have 20, 40, 60 rapid fire shots on this unit. How good is that? And okay, they might survive, you might be left, but then what they're going to do, they're going to assault you, and then you've got Overwatch before they assault you, and again you're going to move. But the chances are you're not going to have a unit which is going to survive long enough to take all of your troops out, which is why you've got to have a good core amount of troops. If you only had 2 squads, it's not going to happen. You know, that tactic's not going to work. You really want to have a good core amount of units. Keep them together, get them to work basically as one massive unit. That is how you want to do it. Now just a little word about assault as well is how powerful Overwatch is for your warrior, because Overwatch is actually probably more powerful than assault itself, because they're so useless in assaults that, you know, there's no point assaulting. I mean, you're not going to move forward and just assault your opponent. You're going to move forward, you're going to rapid fire your opponent, which okay means you're just going to be standing there. I mean, unless you have the Pharaoh upgrade, which you probably wouldn't even want to take, because once you've rapid fired, you're just going to stand there. Let your opponent assault you. You're going to die in the assault anyway. Let your opponent assault you, and that gives you your rapid fire Overwatch shots, which means you've got a high chance of getting a few 6s, probably more chance of getting 6s, and then killing someone in Overwatch than you have actually in the assault itself. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind. And then just going back to the, and if you're quite new to Necrons, then just going back to taking units of 10, what other advantages that actually gives you. What that does, it makes it so much easier to keep track of your units and the amount of shots that you have. You know, if you've got units, say if you've got a mixture of units, let's just say you take like a unit of 9, unit of 11, unit of 8, you know, for whatever reason, some people do that, I've seen lists like that. It just makes it complicated, you know, when you're shooting, so you've got to count up each warrior. So this way, as long as you don't get any deaths, you know you've got 10 shots coming from that way if it's 24 inches, if the next one can rapid fire and they're all in 12, you know, you don't have to count your minis up, and as long as you know that none of them have died, then you've always got 10. And that just makes life so much easier. So it's, you know, when you've got all this other stuff to think about, and not having to count your models up every time you shoot and stuff, that just makes it so much easier. So yeah, hopefully that was useful to you. And what we're going to do now, we're going to move on to Immortals, check them out, and more to come.